this is Lindsay here with Tuned In Press. I'm here with the Spill Canvas, and we're here with
Landon,
Bryce, and Nick.
Alrighty, so let's get started. I know you guys came out with Hivemind recently, right?
Yes.
So it's been about 5 or 6 years, I want to say, since you've really released anything. What have you been doing in all of that time?
Geez, it's been forever since we released anything. It's been a long, kind of arduous journey between, the band kind of dissolved a bit in 2012, I want to say.
Yeah, 2011. Because I still was 2012, right?
Oh yeah. So we came out with our last full length was Gestalt. In 2012, we Kickstarter funded it. That was with the old lineup. We had a different our original drummer and guitar player. And after that record, they wanted to do family stuff and just be home, and they were kind of done touring and being in the band. So we took a little break. I tried some solo stuff. Because Landon and I wanted to keep playing music, and then we ended up meeting Bryce, who is our new drummer now, and just kind of revitalized us as far as like wanting to play music again. Because he was excited, and we were jaded and old and stuff, and he was pumped and excited, and so it helped us to kind of find that spark again. And then what happened was we ended up coming across the 10-year anniversary of the release of our second record, One Fell Swoop. And so a lot of bands were doing the anniversary tours and stuff, and we were like, well, it's been 10 years, let's do that. And so we ended up getting another guitar player and had Bryce, and we all four kind of headed out on that, and then we got a support slot on Motion City Soundtrack's last tour, their farewell tour. They're good friends of ours from the past, and so yeah, it kind of reignited this Spill kind of flame, and so we decided, okay, let's write some new music. But then we ran into the 10 year of No Really I'm Fine, which is our third record. So the last 3 tours prior to this were basically just old music tours.
And in between that, we had a request tour where fans voted online. So we've just been basically playing all old stuff. So well, we should probably keep doing this.
Probably get some new stuff. Yeah. So we wanted it to be more music, but we kind of figured it's a singles market kind of now, and short attention spans and all that. So we didn't have a label. We still don't have a label. We're kind of independent at this point. We left Warner Brothers, and we're doing we're kind of doing it all ourselves now, as of now. But we released Hivemind ourselves, and just that little EP to get our feet wet, kind of, so to speak. Yeah. And so now we're back on the road supporting that, and playing the favorites.
All
those
course.
Favorites and stuff.
Everyone wants to see the favorites.
Yeah. You can't deny those. So that's about what we've been doing. That's the long version.
So I know with Hivemind, it has 3 tracks on it. Are we to be expecting anything else this year, or do you think you're going to spread it out a little bit more?
This year,
2018, probably not. We're gonna need to take some time to hone in some new stuff.
We got a lot of music that is ready to kind of write. We have ideas that are solid song ideas that are half done and everything, or at least not half done. I'd say a quarter of an idea in germ to kind of pollinate. We do have a full band version of The Tide, which is a song off our first record that a lot of people know and like, and kind of a crowd favorite that we turned into a full band version. We play it full band. So we recorded that, and we're going to put that out as a single to kind of in the interim while we get this new stuff ready after this tour. So I think this year we'll get The Tide out as a single, the full band
relatively version. Soon after this tour, we're close on that.
Yeah, and then but then we'll start. We're hoping to kind of play a couple gigs, to get us or find a label that would want to work with us. We still haven't really shopped yet to help us with the time of writing and stuff and producing a new record. So we don't know if we really want to crowdsource again. Yeah. We did 2 records crowdfunding, but it's a big undertaking to do that with all the incentives. So I think this year will be the single, but next year will be a lot of new music. If not a full length, it'll be at least another EP and then the full length, something like that. So
I mean, going from Warner Brothers to being independent is a big leap.
It's a
I mean,
big
how
leap.
was that for you guys, honestly?
Gonna take that.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely see the pros and cons of having a label like that, because you do take on a much bigger workload and it does become a lot more DIY.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you are involved in all the intricate details and have some control and some say of what goes on the road and the direction that everything is going. So that part is cool. I mean, you basically turn into small business owners.
Yeah.
And before, it kind of felt like we were working for them in a way.
Yeah.
Not in a bad way, but you know, it just sort of felt like. Now I guess I feel a lot more a part of it because I'm involved. All of us are involved in like every little aspect.
Every
you're even closer to every song that you make because you.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. There's no. There's not a person saying, the chorus needs to come in at this point because of radio or some garbage like that.
Yeah.
We did come from an age too where the internet was just, when we were on Water Roads, the internet was just kind of taking off as far as a vehicle.
MySpace.
Yeah, like a vehicle for bands to use and a tool. And now it's like a necessary necessity to get your stuff out there. And so it's a bigger change, but it's well needed, I think, in for our mental frame.
So with Hivemind, you guys kind of live all over right now, don't you?
Yeah.
So when were these written and recorded? When did you guys get together?
So we booked a trip basically to Sioux Falls. We're still based out of Sioux Falls, kind of, even though I live in Florida. Our new guitar player lives in Florida. Bryce lives in Sioux Falls and holds the fort down.
The original.
In South Dakota. And then Landon lives in Wisconsin, which isn't too far from South Dakota. But we planned this trip. We're like, we got to do new music. It's new music going. So we decided to see how much we could get done, and we came with about a week. I want to say we had there.
Yeah.
About a week.
Kind of locked ourselves in a room and
and
Nick had some ideas.
Yep.
And we just started building.
Started building off those ideas, and then recorded them within a few days. Yeah. And then got them remixed by a good friend of ours, Jay Hall is his name, and he works with Aaron Sprinkle, the producer, and mixed those, and then Hivemind was ready to go. Yep.
So I know in the song Mothership Hivemind, you sing mindless worker bee programmed by time at the mercy of the queen, executive light. Can you tell me a little bit about the concept and the meaning of being in a hive mind?
Yeah, it's as I was saying before, like the internet being such a valuable tool now. It also, I think it sounds like it kind of sounds like I'm old and grumpy and stuff, and like some old man. Like, what is this newfangled thing these kids are doing? But it is creative. It's as much as it is a valuable tool for us to get our music out, any artist to get their music out. It on the other hand, it's also kind of it creates destructive vanity patterns and really kind of weird. It gives people a platform to stuff that just shouldn't be on a platform. I don't think it causes people to lose the connection to humans, like just interacting with a human, like having a conversation, not just saying something and waiting for the other person to talk. And then there's this whole thing that's been lost, I think, a little bit. And so the lyrics to Mothership Hivemind, oddly enough, that's funny. That's the words in this song. Oddly enough, those lyrics were written in 2006, and I wanted to use them for something, and it was as foreshadowing as it could get. To use them now in a new song where technology had really taken over in the media, it is a weird thing, and not just news media or whatever. Or journalists, the internet itself is an odd place where the hive mind mentality is, just because everyone is on Twitter and saying what they feel doesn't really necessarily mean that's a good thing. And so it's not that it's entertainment, but it also, like I said, it seems a little destructive, and I think we're all seeing the at least now we're starting to see some of the downsides of the social experiment that just is. I mean, it's a big social experiment, to be honest.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I don't know if that. Yeah. I don't know if that encapsulates.
Oh, wait,
anything.
can I start over?
Let me start over. Okay.
Like, cut it. Let's do this.
Yeah.
With Landmark, can you tell me a little bit about the inspiration for that one?
Yeah. That one came from, I got diagnosed this year with schizoaffective disorder, which is a mental disorder. It's basically right in between bipolar and schizophrenia.
Okay.
And, I had a lot of troubles with addiction in the past, but it was weird. The addiction was covering up my declining mental state, which, they kind of say you get diagnosed with schizophrenia in your when you get diagnosed in your mid to late 20s. And I was 34, when they diagnosed me this year. I was like, how's that possible? And they said, well, it can lay dormant if you underwent something traumatic. And during that time, we got dropped from Warner. We put out a record that none of us wrote except for me with a bunch of co-writers. It was after the success of All Over You and our third record, No Really I'm Fine.
Yeah.
We put out a record called Formalities. I had a mental breakdown. I didn't want to put it out. It wasn't us. It was just so contrived, and we were contractually obligated, and we were from the Midwest, so we're kind of a bit passive in a way, and so we just kind of went with it. And I ended up having problems with addiction because of it, because I just couldn't bear, dealing with that. So Landmark itself is really about, I got married about 3 years ago almost, and I really, it's about my wife Sarah, who's amazing. She has been with me through this whole journey of figuring out what's wrong, with me, because I would just be so up and down and just all over the place. It wasn't an addiction issue, and it was like, okay, something's really wrong now. I would get sober and be like, I'm still like this, like what's going on? So Landmark is really that testament to her for being so awesome and understanding when
Right.
It's weird too, there's such a stigma behind mental health now, or I mean, maybe there isn't, maybe the stigma is being broken, but I hear, I guess there's a stigma, and like there's everyone has anxiety, from the smallest general anxiety disorder to something big like borderline personality disorder or multiple personality disorder, and everything in between. I think it's really important that we focus on that, and I think the social conscious seems to be pointing towards a little more acceptance to that kind of stuff, because it's with mass shootings and stuff like that, they really a lot of these people had mental health issues, and they're on these SSRIs, these medications. I'm medicated to the right degree now. It took me 7 to 10 years to find the right medication combo and figure out what exactly it is. And I mean, I'm able to create. I'm creative. I'm able to be on the road. I'm able to function. So that song Landmark is really about struggling with just the ups and downs of the whole thing, and my wife being awesome about it.
That's an awesome background story.
Yeah,
Truly.
thank you, yeah.
So with Hivemind, the other thing I was going to mention, I really, really love the artwork for it. Who kind of designed that?
So the story with that is, I love this artist. His name is John Bellion. He's kind of like a pop artist.
Okay.
He wrote some Jason Derulo. He writes pop songs, and he also writes his own stuff. So John Bellion had his second record was called The Separation, and it had this artwork of this guy floating up, this human floating up towards something, and he was floating up out of a herd of sheep. So it was this really, it spoke to me, and I was like, oh my god, that artwork is amazing.
Yeah.
And I looked at who did it, and it was this girl named Ashley, and she's called Ash Lethal. It's like at Ash Lethal, that's her tag. And so I hit her up on Instagram. I was like, do you do album artwork? And we hit it off, and she actually ended up living in Florida, like an hour from me.
Oh, okay.
And so she is now she's designing the Tide single artwork. She designed that, and she's a painter, and then she'll implement some graphic design into it. And so I gave her the songs, and we said we wanted to call it Hivemind, and that was the first thing she came back with was the sketch of the Hivemind lady.
She had done that poster for us first, right?
She did a poster.
Yeah, she did a No Really I'm Fine poster.
Oh, that's right.
Really
Sorry,
liked.
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
She did she did a poster. That was what we first reached out to her about. Yeah, I forgot. And she's just it's such a cool aesthetic.
Yeah.
It looks so cool and
Unique look.
Really unique look. I think we'll have her do the next. She's our in-house artist now, so we'll have her do.
So you're gonna kind of hold on to her.
Yeah, we're gonna. She loves it,
around.
and she loves the music, and she's so cool, and she's awesome. So if you go out and check her out, it's Ashley.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I will. I like cool art, so I'll check it out.
She's so good.
How do you feel you guys have grown since Sunsets and Car Crashes in 2004?
Oh,
How do you think the music has changed?
Right?
And
Holy cow.
just overall.
Yeah.
Good question.
So yeah, Sunsets.
That's a really good question.
Sunsets for me, yeah. Sunsets for me was just a bunch of demos that I turned into a record and wanted to. I had left a metal band I was in called Nodes of Granvier, and they were a metal band. And
Very different.
Very different. And I wanted to do something. Dashboard had just kind of broke, and I, at the same time had been writing acoustic stuff. I really like Bright Eyes and stuff like that, so I was like, I'm going to do the singer-songwriter thing. I started kind of to do that, but I'd always envisioned it being a full rock band. Like on Sunsets, there's a lot of acoustic songs, but there also is, that kind of hint of, there's some full rock band songs on there. And so it was just a natural progression to become that rock band, and then, but to still retain, put an acoustic song on there. I mean, it's my lyrical writing, I think, that keeps it maybe cohesive enough, because stylistically, from Sunsets to No Really I'm Fine, it's night and day, basically. But I think the writing and the lyrical content and just my voice, I haven't really changed my voice too much. I'd like to think I got better from
So that's the
Sunsets.
proof, right?
Yeah. It's just, and the personnel changes within the band. I think just it's been huge growth, and slow sometimes at times, but steady.
So, as a group, would you say, what is more difficult, kind of putting the music together and writing it and putting all your feelings and stuff into it, or waiting to see how people react to it?
What do you think?
What I think at this point in time.
Yeah.
Right
Yeah,
now.
it's fresh for you because this is Bryce's. Hivemind is the first stuff Bryce has actually recorded on.
Yeah.
Although he's been with us 4 years, but
I think it's like, I think the writing is like the most anticipated for me, honestly.
yeah, I think so too.
Because there's like nothing more fun than getting in a room with each other and like just
Creating something, and then you wonder how you do wonder after it's done, maybe.
Yeah.
Because I think we get into a zone together where it's like, oh, this is cool.
This
Oh,
is-
And we've worked, me and Nick have been lucky enough to work with a lot of really good producers who taught us so much.
They taught us
Which
how to
about,
make a
like-
song and write a.
And
how to
there is
compose.
kind of a
Yeah.
little bit of a formula to kind of what people like.
Yep.
So we don't want to like pigeonhole ourselves. We want to write music that we like,
Yeah.
but at the same time we're kind of stuck with this formula that we learned in the industry in a way.
Yeah.
So it is kind of finding that balance, I think.
Yeah, because you don't want like your, like a 7-minute intro, and then go in, have no chorus or have like 3 bridges or something. We do like to stick to a certain formula that's accessible, but then, explore as much as we can within that
Inside
formula.
that, yeah.
So I think the writing's the most fun part for me, but it is cool to see. I mean, this is our first stuff in 5 years, Hivemind, and we really wanted to see. I mean, I'm already writing little ideas, and I sent them to the guys over this last little break in between the 2 legs of this tour, and I'm already like, oh my gosh, like, what are we gonna do? How's this gonna sound? Are kids gonna like that? And you do want to please them, but
That's
ultimately
tricky too.
it's tricky because it's a selfish thing at first. Because you're like, no, I'm an artist, so I'm gonna do it my way. I'm gonna do it my way. But you don't want to alienate people that have been there since the beginning, or that like your music. Period. Because without them, there is no. It's a two-sided kind of thing. So.
And I know you guys mentioned a lot of touring. What is it, I guess, about the road that you enjoy so much?
I mean, I
What's
love
the best part?
I grew accustomed to being able to kind of be a different, like reset myself every day because you're in a new city, so you can be a different person every day. Like, and I know that sounds weird, but like, you just okay, cool. Had a weird, had a rough day that day, or had a good day that day. Like, you just wake up, it's new surroundings, so it's like it feels fresh. It feels very it feels kind of like the potential is limitless of just what you can do because people don't know who you are in that city. Except at the show.
Hopefully people here know who you are.
Hopefully they know. Yeah. I love that aspect. It's travel. It's like
it's like the excitement. I think of you wake up in a new city every day.
Yeah.
The older we get, the more jaded you get too.
Yeah.
So you try to find the happiness in little things
In
on
the
the road.
little
It's
things,
like being
yeah.
together with your friends.
Yeah.
So like that first second you walk on stage and hear the crowd cheer.
Yeah.
Finishing the set and know you played a good show. Just that kind of adrenaline.
Yeah, the adrenaline. Or finishing a set and being like, now we can go back to sleep.
And
eat pizza.
Getting to the
That was
hotel.
great.
Yeah.
Getting out of the van.
Yeah, exactly.
They're older than me in that aspect, though.
Yeah, that's where Bryce.
I feel like creating is like when you're on stage, it's just an energy. Like you're riding different ebbs and flows and waves with the members, with the audience. It's like a different experience every night.
Yeah.
But like you're super tight in aspects of your set as musicians, but there's still so many things that can change.
Different variables.
Yeah, like in the studio is just like a complete different energy than being on tour. But I think that's one thing that's why we tour so much, is because just you can't recreate playing on stage.
Yeah, there's no better feeling. It's insane when people. It doesn't matter how many. If they cheer, if the whole place cheers after a song, it's like that's one of the best feelings ever. It just feels so good.
And if we didn't tour, we'd have to get real jobs.
Yeah, we're definitely not doing that.
Yeah, and I don't want to do that.
No.
I sold insurance for a year.
Yeah.
It's not quite the same.
No.
There's no one cheering you as soon as you sell it.
Yeah.
Good sale.
Good job.
Yeah.
So obviously a lot of your songs have a lot of meaning, but has there ever been a song that's been particularly difficult to perform from an emotional standpoint?
Yeah. So my mom passed this year in February.
That's okay.
She had a double lung transplant about 3 years ago, and that it was a long process because she was good for a while, and then the lungs weren't taking to her body, so they were rejecting, and then it was like a slow, okay, she's gonna pass, and she went into hospice. My wife and I went back home to see her and everything, and there's a song. I got to see her, there's a song called "Appreciation and the Bomb." It's off of our third album, "Over That I'm Fine," where I was a little younger and my mom was healthier at the time, and we just didn't have. We had a turbulent relationship, like every kid does with a parent, and I was a little younger, a little bitter. I was unable to let things go, and so I wrote this lyric about her in the song where I say I wish she would try a little harder, maybe catch a show or two. Would that be such a bother? And now today we play that song in the set as kind of a tribute to her, and I explain, I say what happens and everything before the song, but it's really tough. I mean, on the last tour, because it's I made peace with it, and I got to see her before she went, and we made peace with each other, and it was amazing. She got to see my wife and meet my wife, and and know that I was okay, that someone was taking care of me, that my father and my wife, they were there for me for all of my struggles, and I think she left the earth and this life feeling good about that and being peaceful. Yeah. So it was a really peaceful, and her family, it like made the wake and the funeral, so positive. It was like a celebration of her life. And so when we play that song, I mean, there's one time it hits you when I'm talking on stage about her, because I'm pretty, I'm in therapy, so I've talked about it a lot, and I've grown to be okay with it, but sometimes it just hits you, like how, like we wouldn't talk for a long time, but I'd eventually call her. And so it's getting to that point now where like I feel like, oh yeah, she's gone, I'm like, I'm not just not talking to her. So that song in the set is particularly, I think, I get really lost in that emotion. Luckily, it's not a hard song to play, because then it would be even
technically and emotionally.
Technically, just like but I get lost in that one. And that one's really, it's cool though, because I feel like I changed the lyric a bit, so it's not so bitter. But that one's definitely the hardest for sure.
Totally understand.
Yeah.
So we're gonna move a little more positive.
Yeah.
Stray away from that a little bit. Can you tell me a little bit about your guests, your band guests that are on this tour with you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Selfish Things and Punchline.
Yeah.
We've gotten pretty close with these guys. And actually, last tour we had an emergency situation where we had to have Selfish Things be our pseudo guitar techs.
Yeah.
So we got a lot closer with them through that experience too. And they've all been awesome. We love these guys.
They had to get a trailer rewired too, so we took on all their gear. So we just helped load and unload.
You just kind of become like a family on the road. It's like you watch each other's backs. Like today we had our issues. Right when we rolled up, they all came out there and helped us load in. It's just like we're brothers,
Yep. They're all so nice, man. They're such nice people,
and they're just great musicians.
Yeah,
so, their live shows are so great. Their records sound so great.
Yeah,
I think it's the best support
we've had
music-wise that fits us.
Yeah,
and is like very talented.
Very, we love it. Yeah, they're awesome. Both Punchline and Selfish Things. I feel like Selfish Things is gonna be huge.
I think they're going to be on their way.
I think so. They just got this something about them that's like, it's cool. It's really, it's very, it harkens back to certain styles, but the lead singer and the whole vibe of the band is very enthralled. It's their own thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and I could see them going really far.
We're probably going to be hitting them up in 3 years. To help us out.
Yeah. Can we open for you?
Yeah. It's happened. We New Politics supported us back in the day, and then they went through the roof, and we kind of had a feeling about them too. We were talking about that the other day. You just kind of know in some way what we'll do well. But aside from the success of it, there's amazing people and good musicians.
Canada.
Yeah, they're from Canada, so they're super nice.
Canadians always do great things. They do great things.
They do great things, and they're so nice.
Yes.
The nicest people.
So you guys, obviously, I saw in your VIP experience, a lot of bands are doing that now.
Yeah.
What do you like most about doing that?
We've never done it, until this last few years, and I think it's cool because we used to go out to the merch table every night, which was fun, but that gets really old when you get older. It gets not old, but it gets tough to talk, and obviously we're so thankful and so appreciative of our fans. But we would go out there. We'd be out for 2 hours at least, talking to people, signing stuff, taking pictures. So it's a nice way to, if you want to do that,
Structure.
It's structure. I come to the VIP.
You
It
catch
also.
them when they're sober too.
Yeah.
At that point,
Yeah.
you're a little drunk with you. Know?
Yeah. You catch it. So you can the conversation's a little quicker.
You're still with it.
Yeah. But it's also playing the songs acoustic is kind of cool. We've never done that.
Yeah.
Playing some of the songs that are full band electric acoustic in this way and during the VIPs is really cool. It's fun. It pushes you to kind of be like, you know, a better musician. It's just like
People are literally refraining.
There goes the knock.
Hello.
So I do have a few just fun questions left for you guys. Would you rather travel back in time, meet your ancestors, or travel to the future and meet your descendants? Why?
I would
What were
rather
the options again? Sorry.
So, travel back in time and meet your ancestors,
Yeah.
or go to the future and meet your descendants.
So it's only two options.
Oh.
Me too.
So back in time to see what is going on in Egypt, if the aliens are there or not.
So you're not going to Egypt unless you're
We're
Egyptian. You're going back in
we're
time
all
just
from
to
there.
meet your,
We're all
just to
from
meet your
there, dude.
ancestors.
Yeah, we all started somewhere, man.
Pangea.
Yeah, so let's go back to the absolute beginning.
I'm going to the beginning.
of our.
I'm going to
Beginning
Adam,
of
man.
Yeah.
Okay.
going to Adam.
I'm going back. I would go back. I'm so
Okay.
interested in what went on back then. Even if it's
Yeah.
my
Kind of troll
ancestors.
you.
I don't want to see the future, man.
I don't either. I don't know. I don't
What if
either.
it's bad?
Because
Yeah.
what if it's nothing?
Oh
What
yeah.
if the planet's gone?
Yeah. I don't want to know.
Because of the solar
I'm gonna go
flare.
back.
All right.
If you had to give up one of your senses, hearing, seeing, feeling, smelling, or tasting, what would it be?
Smelling.
What do you think?
Easy.
Yeah, I guess there's a lot of negative smells.
Smelling and or tasting, because then I can
Yeah.
eat healthy food.
No, that's true.
But you don't want to ever taste your food ever? You're just going to be
That
chewing
kind of suck.
paper?
Like good food.
Go back.
Here's your birthday meal. Here's some cardboard.
but compared to like.
Obviously,
any
you
of
want
the
to hear
other-
music.
Yeah, I gotta
or
hear
see.
it, and I gotta
without,
see.
without the smell, the taste is diminished
That's
significantly
true. That's
too.
true.
So you're kind of almost
You're losing
giving
juice.
up a sense and a half.
Yeah, that's true. I still would say smell.
Yeah, those taste.
Yeah.
Smells?
Yep.
Cool. Got it. As a band, so not each of you, but as a collective group, you decide to have a nice dinner and you can invite two other musicians that you've never met but would love to talk to. Who do you invite?
Dead or alive or alive?
Alive.
Alive.
Chris Conley.
John
And you
Mayer.
have to only
John Mayer.
We have to all agree.
We all
on
have
two.
to agree.
John
You wouldn't say
Mayer.
Eminem?
Oh my God, Eminem. Oh my God. Give me a second. Justin Vernon from Von Iver and Eminem.
We trade Eminem for John Mayer. I'll go trade
Go
you.
John Mayer.
Okay, I'll go John Mayer over Eminem.
So John Mayer and Justin Vernon.
Justin Vernon.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Forget Eminem.
Eminem's
I
out.
love
Just push him
Eminem.
aside,
I love
no
him
VIP.
so much.
All right, do you guys have anything to say to fans?
Just be on the lookout for new music. We definitely are back in a slow way, but
Yeah.
we're back and we're really gunning for it this time, and before we get too old. And go check out all the all of the things, the Insta spaces and the Facebooks and everything.
Any social media that you have?
MySpace.
Any MySpace, Friendster. Check it out.
What if we only had a MySpace? It's the only way you could see our social media.
Force
Or
it. But yeah, just check out Hivemind too. Go check that out. There's only 3 songs, so I know your attention span is like short. If you made it to the end of this interview, congrats. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah. All right, thank you guys. Stay tuned. You can watch this full interview at tunedinpress.com. Thanks so much. Bye.